Good morning, everybody. If you are a recipient of a service award pin today, you need to check in at the table outside the front to receive your card. So if you have not done so, please do so now so we can begin. Thank you. All right, we're going to start this event. Hello, may I have your attention, please? Good morning. I can sing, but you don't want me to sing. Okay. Will those employees who are receiving their 40-year award and the 35-year award recipients please line up to your right of the stage? Behind those people are holding up the 40-year and 35-year poster. If we can do so in alphabetical order, we'd appreciate it. You can do so now. We can get started. Thank you. Wow, it got really quiet. She's smiling at me. Ready? Good morning. Hello, everyone. Everybody hear me? Right? How about those breakfast burritos? Huh? Great. Well, it's great to see you all here this morning joining us in recognizing our peers for their years of service here at Cal Poly Pomona. My name is Rachel Dominguez, and I'm this year's Staff Council President. Thank you. I am honored to take part in this ceremony recognizing Cal Poly's faculty and staff for their years and years and years of service, of dedicated service here at Cal Poly. But seriously, Cal Poly is a great place to work, and you will see this today by the number of service award recipients we have. On behalf of Staff Council, I would like to congratulate and honor those who will be receiving their awards today. Now, before continuing on with the awards, I would like to take a moment to thank and acknowledge Staff Council's Service Award Committee, co-chairs Cynthia Williams and Eva Baeza, Lola Calori and Whitney Lopez, also members of the committee, and the Staff Council volunteers who are working the registration table up here on the stage, designating the people to the appropriate lines, all who worked so hard today in putting this event together. So can we give them a round of applause? And now, I would like to introduce Cynthia Williams, the Staff Council Vice President for this year, and this year's co-chair for the Service Awards. Thank you. Well, we already announced that we're having this 2012 Service Awards, so again, let me tell you a little history about our Service Awards ceremony. This began back in 1973 by Staff Council to show appreciation to its staff and faculty employees for their years of dedicated service. Those employees who have reached the 10-year milestone and every 5 years thereafter are being recognized. Today we will be honoring 193 fellow employees. A lot. In addition to the Service Award pin, each recipient receives a letter from Cal Poly Pomona Foundation, which can be redeemed for monetary value onto the Bronco ID card based upon the years of service. This was generously donated by Cal Poly Pomona Foundation. Yes, thank you. I want to say I've been blessed with an amazing committee assisting me with this year's event. The committee from Staff Council consists, which has already been mentioned, Eva Baeza, who she is from our Political Science Department. Unfortunately, she cannot be with us today. Lola Kalati from Faculty Center for Professional Development, and Whitney Lopez, INIT. Announcing our names and bios will be Ms. Sandy Davis, Executive Assistant President's Office, and Chief Michael Guerin, University Police. Biographies have been requested of recipients with 30 years of service, but are not required. Recipients may elect not to submit a biography. At this time, I would like to welcome back on stage our University President, Mr. Michael Ortiz, to begin our Service Award ceremony.
Thank you. And since I took so long on the first speech, I want to be real short now and just say I want to congratulate us. When I say congratulate us, I want to congratulate the university for retaining such outstanding individuals for the length of time that we have. Congratulations to us and to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ortiz. Now we will begin this event again with those with 40 years and 35 years service. We do have our volunteers lifting up the posters for your years of service. So we ask that you stand behind that person lifting up the sign. You'll see the beautiful green signs there. And if you can, line up in alphabetical order. That's going to be really hard, but we'll try, all right? Okay. To present these awards, we have our university president again, Dr. Michael Ortiz.
Nancy Anna Doherty, 40 years, Library Services Specialist, University Library. Nancy was first employed at Cal Poly Pomona in 1969 as a student assistant in the catalog department in the University Library. She started her full-time position at Cal Poly in November 1971. She has worked in almost every department in the library: periodicals, acquisitions, serials, circulation, reserves, cataloging, and for the last 30 years in reference and instruction. Before being employed in the library, she was a Cal Poly Pomona English major. She received a BS in English in 1971. Not surprisingly, Nancy graduated with honors. Never one to stop learning or improving herself, Nancy earned her Master in Library Science from USC in 1976. During her tenure here, she has worked under 4 directors and deans and 1 interim dean. She met her husband, sorry. That's 1 for those of you that are counting. She met her husband, Ray, a faculty emeritus from the kinesiology, that's 2, kinesiology department here. Her daughter-in-law, Dr. Elaine Doherty, also teaches in the kinesiology department. Everyone who knows Nancy knows about her energy, her enthusiasm, her commitment, and her genuine care for our students. She bends over backwards to provide high-quality service to students, faculty, and staff. She continues to have a strong commitment to the university, the library, and the campus community. Nancy, thanks for all your service. Sandy Davis, 40 years. I have to tell you that we had several volunteers to help write Sandy's bio, but I took the high road and took what she gave me. Sandy Davis began her Cal Poly Pomona journey in 1968 when she became a student in the College of Business Administration. She worked as a student assistant for the Business Management Department throughout her 4 years of college. During this time, she was a member of Lambda Chi sorority, served as ASI recording secretary, and was crowned Polyview Queen in 1970. She's still got the wave. She calls this her 15 minutes of fame moment and has served as a judge on the Mr. and Miss Cal Poly Pomona event for the last 4 years. Sandy received a degree in office management with an option in secretarial science in 1972 and began her employment at Cal Poly Pomona as a department secretary for the College of Business. Her thought was to work on campus until she found a real job. After working briefly in academic affairs, she joined the president's staff in 1975. Sandy has worked for 4 presidents during her time on campus: Drs. Kramer, LaBounty, Suzuki, and Dr. Ortiz. If you want to know where a body is buried, she is your best resource. Sandy is not only proud of her 40 years of service to the university, but of her 2 sons, Robert and Eric. Eric graduated from the College of Business at Cal Poly Pomona and is an instructional designer in e-learning. Robert, who works as a student assistant in the Disabled Student Center, is a senior majoring in CIS. Sandy is grateful to have been a part of the Cal Poly Pomona family and feels very fortunate to have spent 3/4 of her life at a place that she loves. Congratulations, Sandy, on 40 years of service. Now get back here and get to work, Sandy. Delia Leon, lead evaluator, University Registrar's Office, 40 years. Delia started her position in the university May 3rd, 1972. Her career began in the records office, a department within student affairs. As clerical assistant, too, she processed grade changes, transcripts, and performed general record keeping. In those days, everything was a manual process. Even fee bills were manually written for each student, and bubble sheets were used to enroll them in classes. It was a whole different work environment back then. There were no computers. In the 80s, Delia moved to the evaluations office. At the time, she was far younger than any of the other evaluators, but she was wise beyond her years, and a decade later in the 90s, she became the lead evaluator. Delia is a living encyclopedia of anything pertaining to degree requirements. She has been nicknamed Obi-Wan Kenobi because she knows the answers to all the department questions. If she doesn't remember something, she knows exactly where to go find it. She can remember a memo that was written back in the 80s. She is the registrar's office expert and go-to person. Delia is a very hard worker, is extremely helpful, and is always pleasant to work with. She is a person you can count on to go the extra mile. A faithful employee all these years, Delia has served her co-workers and the campus community extremely well. Delia Leon. Terry M. Gallegos, 35 years, Operations Specialist, University Financial Aid and Scholarships. Terry started at Cal Poly Pomona in October of 1976 as a temporary employee in admissions as a clerical 2 admissions processor. She then moved to the records office from 1977 to 1980 as a full-time employee in the position of clerical 2 records processor. In 80, she applied for the position in financial aid office and has been there ever since. Based on her skill and knowledge, she's been promoted up the ranks in varying positions, ranging from clerical assistant 2 in 1980 all the way up to operations specialist at present. Terry is very student-centered and cares deeply about the success of our students. They're at the forefront of everything she does. Terry is a very detail-oriented person and has the keen sense of ability to look at processes and immediately see a bottleneck. She always brings forth great ideas and suggestions for process improvement. Over her years here at Cal Poly Pomona, Terry has participated in fall conferences, admissions day, Founders Day, open houses, Bronco Fest, staff council, and many more. Terry is instrumental to the financial aid process as she has the lead-off position for loading upwards of 70,000 financial aid applications into the PeopleSoft system. Staff looks to her for knowledge and expertise in various areas. Terry is a strong asset in the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships and to Cal Poly Pomona. Terry Gallegos.
Dr. Eric McLaughlin, 35 years, finance, real estate, and law. Teaching the subject of finance, Eric is a numbers person.
Oh, wait, your mic's on.
Trying to shut me up. Sorry about that. They're trying to shut me up. Okay. Dr. Eric McLaughlin, finance, real estate, and law. Teaching the subject of finance, Eric is a numbers person. He has worked with 3 presidents, 10 provosts, 11 deans, and 9 department chairs. He's taught over 10,000 students in subjects ranging from personal money management to corporate finance. His specialty is healthcare finance, and he's been retained as an expert witness for numerous court cases involving hospital reimbursement. Eric has taught classes in 16 different venues for 7 different universities in Southern California and 8 international venues. He's appeared on 4 television programs, including one that was broadcast throughout Russia. He has 68 professional presentations, published 19 conference proceedings, and 9 peer-reviewed journal articles. Eric has chaired or participated on the committees of 37 MBA theses, some involving students from the colleges of engineering and science. Eric has evaluated approximately 12,500 graduation writing test papers and currently serves as the chair of the GWT Advisory Committee. When not teaching, Eric enjoys gardening with his 96 cymbidium orchids, 6 different species of staghorn ferns, 46 citrus trees, and 14 varieties of tomatoes. He also enjoys cooking for family and friends, preparing, you guessed it, 7-course meals. Eric, we're counting on you to continue your good work at Cal Poly Pomona. Congratulations on 35 years.
Will the 30-year recipients please line up behind the person holding the appropriate poster? If possible, in alphabetic order. Alphabetical order, that's 3. Jane M. Peters, 35 years, Confidential Administrative Coordinator, Office of Faculty Affairs. Jane Peters has worked for Cal Poly Pomona for 35 years as a highly effective and valued member of the academic affairs staff. Jane's service to the university and the faculty has been characterized by expertise, diplomacy, respect for and support of faculty. She played a key role in the creation of the Faculty Center for Professional Development. Working closely with the director, Jane researched the young field of faculty development and created programs and opportunities for the Cal Poly Pomona faculty. Jane's contributions as faculty affairs specialist have been equally remarkable and important. Her expert knowledge of university procedures and faculty collective bargaining provisions have been essential to the effectiveness of the faculty recruitment, reappointment, tenure, promotion, and professional leave. Over the years, Jane has provided support and guidance to dozens of university RTP committees, professional leave committees, and administrative search committees. Members of these committees and faculty members and administrators served by them have expressed limitless admiration and gratitude for Jane's assistance. In addition, Jane is considered an expert on immigration issues, having worked tirelessly with the Chancellor's Office, Campus Legal Counsel, and various attorneys in facilitating and granting of visas for our international faculty. Jane's contributions to the university, and most especially to the faculty, have been truly extraordinary. Jane Peters.
Eloise Pro, Instructional Support Technician, Biological Sciences Department. For 35 years, Eloise Pro, Instructional Support Technician in Bioscience, has given distinguished, expert, and selfless service to the Biological Sciences Department, College of Science at Cal Poly Pomona. Ms. Pro exhibits tremendous breadth and depth in carrying out her responsibilities, which include, among other things, efficiently and masterfully running the cell and molecular biology stockroom, implementing and overseeing standard operating procedures in cell and molecular biology and microbiology teaching exercises, assisting faculty with teaching exercises, assisting graduate students with research projects, training and supervising graduate teaching associates and undergraduate student assistants, and performing microbiology quality assurance testing for the animal facility at Cal Poly Pomona. She always takes the initiative to work on projects that help to enhance faculty teaching efforts, as well as advance the quality of education delivered to Cal Poly students. Ms. Pro remains technically and scientifically up to date by regularly attending the annual meetings of the American Society for Microbiology. Ms. Pro has demonstrated an exemplary level of commitment to service. She served on numerous committees, including the Biological Sciences Department Advisory Committee, College of Science Staff Awards Committee, Budget Committee, and many others. Ms. Pro's contributions go beyond those related to her normal duties. Through industry relationships that she has cultivated over the years, she secured $450,000 in supply and equipment donations to the Biological Sciences Department. Her commitment to Cal Poly Pomona has not gone unnoticed. She's received the College of Science Outstanding Staff Award 4 times and was the recipient of the University Outstanding Staff Award in 1998. The faculty, staff, and students of the Biological Sciences Department are indeed fortunate to have the knowledge, expertise, passion, work ethic, and resourcefulness of Eloise Pro. Congratulations on 35 years.
Dr. Pamela J. Sperry, 35 years, Biological Sciences Department, College of Science. From 1977 to the present, that's 35 years, Dr. Pam Sperry, professor, former chair, and former associate chair of Biological Sciences, has rendered distinguished service to the Biological Sciences Department in the College of Science here at Cal Poly and to the California State University system. Dr. Sperry personifies the model faculty member who has made significant contributions to all aspects of campus life, from providing quality classroom education at Cal Poly Pomona to creating significant experiential learning opportunities to undergraduate and graduate students and K-12 teachers through funded research and training programs, to advancing knowledge through original research, to serving as the Biological Sciences Department's chair, associate chair, director of advising, and to contributing selflessly to campus shared governance through service at the department, college, and university levels. In all these capacities, Dr. Sperry has distinguished herself as a true academician and teacher-scholar who cares deeply about students, learning, teaching, advancing knowledge, and building a campus environment conducive to student, faculty, and staff success. Dr. Sperry has taught diverse undergraduate and graduate courses, including majors and non-majors biology, science and math, freshman experience, cell, molecular, and developmental biology, concepts of molecular biology, molecular biology techniques, molecular biology of development, advanced cell biology, and embryology. Embryology. That's four. She has served on numerous thesis committees, on many of them as the major professor. Her scholarly work has resulted in many publications and presentations with student co-authors. For years, Dr. Sperry has served as the Director of Advising for the Biological Sciences Department. Her passion for student success twice earned her the college's Outstanding Academic Advisor Award in 2009 and 2012. In support of her scholarly, student, and teacher training and curriculum advising efforts, Dr. Sperry has attracted $4 million in extramural funds to Cal Poly Pomona. Dr. Sperry has consistently demonstrated exemplary leadership and service. In addition to serving as chair, associate chair, and director of advising for biological sciences, she has served on or chaired nearly every departmental and college committee. At the university level, she has served on numerous committees, including the University Advising Task Force, University First Year Experience Committee, and the Athletic Board. Dr. Sperry is a highly respected and valued by her colleagues who benefit daily from her knowledge and expertise, collaborative and collegial approach to problem solving, wisdom, good nature, and friendship. Pam Sperry.
Dr. Lester Young, Dean, College of Agriculture, 35 years. Les has been passionate about carrying out the mission and goals of the College of Agriculture for 35 years. He has provided faculty leadership and staff support to achieve excellence in teaching, research, and professional development in his college. He's helped to ensure student success through quality programs, curricular development, and pedagogical technological support. That was pretty good. Huh? Yeah, thanks. Finally, he has provided oversight and management of 2,000 acres of field crops, tree crops, vineyards, and livestock, most notably as principal manager of the Kellogg Legacy of Arabian Horses, which our campus is world famous for. Kudos, yeah. He has taught in the areas of general entomology, integrated pest management, biological control, insect ecology, and population ecology, and has had many accomplishments, too many to mention, but I will mention a few. Sorry about that. In 2004, he was the recipient of the Champion of Diversity Award at Cal Poly. From 2008 to 2010, he served as a member of the Board of Directors to the American Association of Schools and Colleges of Agriculture and Renewable Resources. And finally, 2009 to 12, he was a member of the Board of Directors of the LEAD 21 program sponsored by the Association of Public and Land Grant Universities. Congratulations on 35 years, Dr. Les Young.
Terry Allen, 30 years, Police Sergeant, University Police Department. All right, here's why I dump the script and tell him what I think. Sergeant Terry Allen has served as a police officer for the Cal Poly Pomona Police Department for 30 years. He accepted employment with University Police June 1st, 1982. Terry began his career as a deputy sheriff with the Riverside County Sheriff's Office in 1980, where he gained the fundamental knowledge required to be a law enforcement officer. During his employment with Cal Poly PD, Terry has fulfilled a variety of roles for the department. He has been a field training officer for new recruits, served as the department training manager to ensure the officers' training requirements were met, and he eventually promoted to field sergeant, to mention a few. Terry has held these auxiliary assignments concurrently with regularly assigned patrol duties. Terry has given distinguished service as a field supervisor in his role as sergeant for 10 years since 2002. He has embraced the values of the Student Affairs Division in all areas, especially with the value of student-centered philosophy. He always looks for a way to turn his interactions with students into a supportive and lasting experience. While Terry has worked through many changes the campus has experienced over 30 years, his outstanding commitment to service has remained constant. Terry Allen.
Dr. Edward Fonda, Animal and Veterinary Sciences, 30 years. Since joining the AVS department in 1982, Ed has served on numerous committees in the department, college, and university. He has participated in numerous events sponsored by the Animal and Veterinary Sciences Department and College of Agriculture, including, but not limited to, Pumpkin Festival, Ag Field Day, Open House, and Ag Beautification. He's been honored with Faculty of the Year and Advisor of the Year in the College of Agriculture. Ed's personnel file is chock full of thank you letters from students, administrators, and industry connections, as well as a few from parents. A previous dean once said, Dr. Fonda is one of the quiet leaders who contributes to every area in which he is involved. In his spare time, he built a plane, which he uses to pilot himself to various business meetings, saving the department considerably in airfare. Wow. In the past 30 years, Ed has been a professor, student advisor, swine unit manager, club advisor, chair, associate chair, chair again, and then back to professor. One of these days, he'll make up his mind on what he wants to do. Thank you, Ed, for your 30 years of devotion to the students.
Will the 25-year recipients please line up behind the person holding the appropriate poster, if possible, in alphabetical order? Dr. Philip R. Rosenkrantz, 30 years, Industrial Manufacturing Engineering, College of Engineering. Dr. Philip R. Rosenkrantz has served the Industrial and Manufacturing Engineering Department since 1982, where he was the department chair from 90 until 98. During his time as chair, he was active in developing the TQM certificate program and TQM minor in collaboration with the College of Business Administration, and was director of the Western Taguchi Center. As a professor, he has been active with the Industrial Advisory Council, implementing instructional technology, and on advisory boards for the Faculty Center and Kellogg Honors College. He has been the faculty advisor for numerous student groups. Dr. Rosenkrantz was the 4th recipient of the George P. Hart Award for Outstanding Faculty Leadership and awarded the 2012 Outstanding Teaching Award for the College of Engineering. In 2005, the Los Angeles chapter of the American Society for Quality awarded him the Simon Collier Quality Award, the highest honor given to a quality professional in Southern California. Dr. Rosenkrantz was the founding faculty advisor of the Theta Sigma chapter of the Sigma Chi fraternity. His community service includes 27 years on the board of Eastside Christian Schools in Fullerton and 16 years as a Forest Service volunteer in the San Gorgonio Wilderness. He has taught in statistics, statistical methods, operations research, ethics, and engineering technology, and he helped create the TQM certificate program, as we said. Congratulations to Philip R. Rosenkrantz.
Jane Self, Human Resources Services Director, University Payroll Services, 30 years. Jane's career at Cal Poly Pomona began August 2nd, 1982, when she was hired as a payroll and personnel transaction clerk. Jane quickly moved to a trainer position with the responsibility of assuring campus compliance with system-wide payroll regulations. Today, Jane is Director of Payroll Services. The Employment Services and Classification and Compensation sections also report to Jane. To say she is hardworking is an understatement. Many on campus know her as the go-to person for the university. She has the gift of remembering historical information all the way back to her early days at Cal Poly. This not only includes campus practices and regulations, but also system-wide information. Because of her vast knowledge, Jane is often called on by the campus community to help resolve employment and payment issues. As a testimony to Jane's HR payroll expertise, she was handpicked to participate as a member of the system-wide pilot team for implementation of HR PeopleSoft. Over a period of 2 years, she spent several days a week at the Chancellor's office while maintaining a full workload here at Cal Poly. Once the implementation team had completed their assignment, Jane returned and spearheaded the campus implementation as our HR PeopleSoft manager. Because of her hard work, the campus implementation in July 2001 was a great success. Jane's commitment to Staff Council is also longstanding. During the early 90s, Jane served as co-chair of Staff Council and participated on multiple committees. Always ready to step up and help wherever she's needed, Jane continued to serve on committees long after she was no longer a Staff Council member. To this day, she continues to support them with the Service Awards program. In addition to Staff Council, Jane assisted the Cal Poly Federal Credit Union several years with counting the ballots for board member elections. To Jane Self, the person, the most important things in life are her family and her faith. She's been married 40 years. For that, you need a medal, okay? Been married 40 years, has 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren. Jane and her husband, Stephen, volunteer countless hours to their church. All those who work with and for Jane appreciate her and her dedication to Cal Poly Pomona, and I congratulate her on 30 years of service to the university. Thank you, Jane.
Jane, there was a problem with one deduction from last month. Could we talk about that later? Dr. Felicia Friendly Thomas, 30 years, Psychology and Social Department, College of Art, Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences. Dr. Friendly Thomas was one of the founding members of the NSW Cosby Friendmobile, which was one of our central community service projects for many years. She's a well-regarded international speaker in the profession of psychology. Dr. Friendly Thomas is at the forefront of online teaching and of the formal evaluation of that process for students. She is a senior faculty member in our department and one of the most trusted and respected colleagues there. Finally, she's a long-term McNair mentor and a strong student advocate for those in that major. Licensed psychologist for the state of California, she teaches in post-traumatic stress disorder, child psychopathology, school-based interventions, complicated bereavement, ethnic identity, black psychology, social perceptions, and racism. Dr. Friendly Thomas' service to the department, the college, and the university over the last 30 years has been far-ranging and tireless. She currently serves as co-chair of the department's Impaction Committee. She serves on the steering committee of the department's RTP committee, and she serves on the department's Masters Committee. Dr. Felicia Friendly Thomas, 30 years.
Could I get Dr. Martin Denboer to come to the podium or to the stage? All right. Cameron Abedini.
Brenda Burns.
Deborah Campbell. Deborah Candle. I'm sorry. Number 1, first mistake.
Fidel Escanuelas.
Gary Funk.
Laura E. Fujimoto Hernandez.
Mark Gannett.
Will the 20-year recipients please line up behind the person holding the appropriate poster, again in alphabetical order if possible. Gerald K. Herder.
Sylvia Moriel.
Fernando Para.
Kenneth Montoya.
Lavena Reyes.
Barry Soroka.
James E. Swartz.
Ed Walton.
And that's our last 25-year recipient. Now the 20-year recipients with Dr. Doug Freer come and award the recipients. The first of which is Lori A. Barker.
Richard Barron, a.k.a. Captain Moonlight.
Ernest M. Briones.
Barbara Jean Bruin.
Leslie A. Butler.
Gina Dravis.
Liliane M. Fucaloro.
Timothy Lockhart.
Will the 15-year recipients please line up behind the person holding the appropriate poster? Daniel Maury.
Lian Lin.
Na M. Fung.
Barbara Russell.
G.R. Waters.
Sue Wise. Will Paul Story come up to the stage? These are the 15-year pins. Pauline Annandeth.
Laura A. Owen.
Jane Bollinger.
Elizabeth Cristostomo.
Sarah Garver.
Poiva Hakala.
Leonardo J. Leonor.
Judy Ann Liu.
Norma Leon.
Will the 10-year recipients please line up behind the appropriate poster? Richard A. Marquecho.
Robbie Myers.
April McKettrick.
Diana Miner.
Yesenia Ramirez.
Cynthia Reagan.
Martin F. Sancho Madrid.
Victoria Sionko.
Patricia A. Warsham.
Gina Yamashita.
Wei Shang.
Will Dr. Fremont come to the stage? This is for the 10-year pins. Anthony Avina.
Monica Baez.
Regina Allison.
Laura Chase.
Antonio Espinas.
Nora Jean Fernandez.
Alex Hernandez.
Mario Alvarez.
Michael Babb.
Juan Choi.
Ben DeWald.
Jack Ferraro. Kelly.
Kelly Flanders.
Will the 10-year recipients line up behind the poster? Salvador Guzman.
Rita Hare.
Imran Hamid.
Tiffany Ho.
Michael Ju.
Karsten Lang.
Cisa Riva. La Riva.
Anthony Lee.
And John McGuthrie, I think it's your turn. Douglas S. Lewis.
Reyes Luna.
What is it? Which dorm did you have come in here? George Lupercio.
Lydia Maya.
Kelly McCullen.
Candy McDougall.
Ioana Mihaela.
Mark Miller.
Hector Moreles.
Denny Mosier.
Masood Musavi.
Julie Nazareth.
Kenneth Olson.
Maria Asuna.
Rebecca Pang.
Gloria Pantoja.
Christopher Penrose.
Stella Quirk.
Lorraine Rodriguez.
John Rotuni.
Jody Selko.
John Self.
Bernardo Solano.
Paula Sosta.
Megan Stang.
Jerry Youth Susasayam.
Thomas Allen Thoen.
John Phillips.
Kurt Vandervoort.
Sandra Strang.
Teresita Velasco.
Joseph Filippi.
Terrence G. Young.
Clint Assey.
Okay, thank you. Before we conclude today's event, Staff Council would like to give honorable mention and recognition to the following for their contributions to this special event. Dr. Michael Ortiz, G. Paul Story, Ann McLaughlin, and Nora Fernandez from Foundation, Barbara Bean, Credit Union, Jane, the wonderful Jane Self in Human Resources, and Imran Hamid and his crew who is video streaming this event. Let's give them all a hand. In addition, I would like to give special thanks to all the presenters, our vice presidents and CIO, as well as Sandy Davis and Chief Guerin for their excellent job in announcing. I'm sad to announce, and I think most of you already know, this will be Chief Guerin's last job as our announcer for Staff Council Service Awards. I know. He'll be retiring at the end of this year. We'd like to thank Chief Guerin for all his hours of volunteering and assisting us in Staff Council. Okay, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you all very much for attending. See you next year.